So this person says, can depersonalization be caused in any way by childhood trauma years later? What they're trying to communicate is, did my past affect me experiencing depersonalization or derealization in the here and now? And the answer is most likely yes, especially with something called complex trauma. It means that you've got a history of repeated stress and adversity. And you could almost see it as like filling up a cup of water. And eventually, maybe you're not at that overwhelming point of stress, which is what trauma is. It's a state of overwhelming the nervous system. But over time, that repeated stress and adversity just stacks up, stacks up, stacks up. And eventually you hit that overwhelm point. Your body is so full of tension, adrenaline, emotion, and fatigue that you go from fight or flight response into the freeze response. That's what a trauma response is it's the freeze response. It's basically your nervous system's last ditch effort to protect you. And in that state, your brain thinks that you're being eaten by a lion. And so the goal is to make that death by lion as numb and painless as possible. And that is where depersonalization and derealization kick in. It's basically your brain making you feel detached from your body, right? So these are dissociative symptoms. Dissociate means to separate. So your brain starts to make you feel separated from your body. You look at your arms, you look at your reflection in the mirror, and you don't feel connected to your body anymore. It feels like your body and you are a separate entity. Also, your brain may start to separate you from the material world. This is derealization. This is where everything starts to feel fake and dreamlike. Everything feels like there's a glass wall between you and reality. Nothing feels real anymore. And this is your brain trying to protect you. But it can happen due to something called a major trauma, which think of a major trauma as like a lightning strike. It's a sudden state of overwhelming stress that causes you to enter the freeze response. Yes, you can start to experience DPDR because of just one single situation that causes your nervous system to become overwhelmed, even if you have a relatively calm history. I do see that, but most of the clients that I work with, and I know that this was my case when I went through the symptoms, they have a very long history of stress. Most of the time when I work with somebody, they're like, oh yeah, for years and years, I've been an anxious person and I went through this thing and this thing and this thing and this thing. And again, going back to the cup of water example, it all just started to build up until usually there's some sort of escalating event, right? For me, it was a bad marijuana experience in 2008 where I started to feel out of body. Everything started to feel fake and dreamlike. Time started to feel distorted. But I had a very painful history before that, which is why once DPDR showed up, it was so hard to get rid of the symptoms because my body had been a war zone for years.